Today we are announcing an indictment against 5 officers of the Chinese People's Liberation Army for serious cybersecurity breaches against 6 American victim companies.
All right, for just a quick second, when I saw Eric Holder take to the microphone, all the news networks cover him at the same time, I thought he's going to resign. No, that wasn't the case. But in what some people are calling a shifted attention to a crisis that is really fostering bipartisan rage, he's going after the Chinese, more specifically the Justice Department, as for saying they spy on us, which again is kind of like the pot calling kettle black, which is why the Chinese had this reaction. The U.S. accusation against Chinese personnel is purely ungrounded and absurd. U.S. institutions have long been involved in large-scale and organized cyber theft, as well as wiretapping and surveillance activities against foreign political leaders, companies, and individuals. Now, you notice they didn't deny any of this. They just said, you're pretty rich going after us. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And just call it Manic Monday here, because on this opening day of the week, an opening salvo against the Chinese, that 5 top military career officers were involved in hacking our companies' computer systems, including defense systems, and getting some sensitive material, including, in one case, the designs to a nuclear power plant. To cybersecurity expert Paul Viollis on how this opens us up to lawsuits from the rest of the world. I want to bring in our Fox Biz All-Stars as well. We're going to be adding to this Gary Kaltham and Rick Unger and Jesse Jane Duff. All right, so, Paul, to you first on the charge itself. You have no doubt that it's true that they are indeed and have indeed hacked into our most sensitive companies' computer systems, including defense, right?
There's absolutely no question that the Chinese have been involved in this and involved for a long period of time. We know that. I mean, there's no shock there. The interesting thing about where we are today with this kind of announcement is where do we go from here?
And well, what do you think we do? We can't get them to come here and
like they're really going to come to the United States.
They've already bought their tickets, I hear.
Yeah, well, exactly. So what happens now?
Well, so what does happen? That's really the question. I mean, do you think they're going to turn the other cheek? Do you think they're just going to stand there? No, of course not.
What's their tit for tat then?
You know, I think it won't be long before we get something shot back over the bow that starts describing things that we may or may not have done, making allegations against the United States and what we may or may not have done. And then we're going to be on the defensive trying to say, well, wait a second, that's not true. So, you know, what did we really gain by this? It begs the question, what did we
Well, here's what it is, and I'll give the benefit of the doubt here, and this might surprise Ms. Stronger, but I say touche to at least saying enough with this nonsense. Now, whether we do it or not, and it's been debated as to whether we did it to the degree we did it against every American for the sake of just getting dirt on them, it's a lot stronger response than anything we've done with Vladimir Putin and Russia.
Okay, yeah, but that really, you know, doesn't speak much what we did with him anyway. But the point is,
that's true.
Sorry,
but if you could just work,
I'm sorry,
you can actually work with my analogy here. No, all I'm saying is that you know we let Russia step all over us on this. We're not letting the Chinese step all over us on this. What do you say?
Well, there are two different subjects areas, especially when we're talking about cyber and we talk about risk to the United States and our infrastructure and our businesses, et cetera. Now, at the end of the day, here's what's really important. We just shot a message and made an accusation against them. What's the direct and collateral damage that we're going to realize as a country and other United States companies? What are we going to realize from this?
But you're not supposed to think of that.
Well, okay. Can I take that
No,
back?
seriously, the idea of it's our attitude, the way we've been trying to punish Russia. That a lot of banks and a lot of institutions says don't go too far with these guys because it could boomerang on us.
Right, which is exactly what we're going to look at now.
Really?
I mean, of course. And you're not just talking about China.
It's really interesting what Paul's saying. Yeah, I think this all came out of frustration. I think we've been trying to make some kind of a deal for a couple of years with the Chinese. It's no secret this was going on. And I think they couldn't make it, and they got frustrated and
what would
got
the deal have
indictments.
been? You're a lawyer. What would the deal have been?
Who knows? Stop. You stop, we'll stop. Something like that. But I think Paul makes a great point. What's going to come now? What do they know about us that they're going to start talking about that we wish they wouldn't have?
Exactly. You know, Jesse Jane, this would have had a lot more clout if we were in a position of being holier than thou. We are not, because we've done this sort of stuff, you know, on steroids. So does it make us look any more sympathetic a figure when we finally tell the Chinese enough?
Well, I think we're responding a little too late. The Chinese have been after us for years. I supported this cyber industry over the past 10 years, and they tried to hack into our research and development department 400 times an hour. Just last year, they stole 40 Pentagon weapon systems and 30 defense technologies.
Well, are you sure that was just them?
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is that Janet Reno had told us when she resigned from office the greatest threat to our national security right now is cyber warfare. So, you know, we're now trying to go after them. Where were we 10 years ago?
Yeah, it does seem a little too...
400 times an hour? I have a solution.
Yes.
Let's not put them in jail. Let's put them in Congress. They can vote for the state bill 400 times in an hour.
Well, anyone who can do something at that frequency actually deserve a medal. What we could learn from them.
There's 10 billion people.
But Gary, my point is to Paul's very profound point of that. So then the tit for tat and what we do and what we might regret what we're doing here, that this could boomerang on us and expose us as much as the Chinese to a whole host of ills. And we should keep in mind the Chinese, not that they should enter the equation, own a lot of our debt, and it could get nasty. What do you think?
Well, look, the problem is we've lost a lot of credibility over the last 6 months to a year with the Snowden affair, and you know, we're looked upon by the world. Oh, you're going after China. What about you? So the problem here is what repercussions are going to come from this? You indict some people that are 10,000 miles away. Nothing's going to ever come for it. You're going to go back and forth, up and down, all around, and China has all your debt. So
well, no, you're very good point. And again, we've got all these that we're just showing the sideboard there of all the countries that are angry at us for spying on them. So the rest of the world, Paul, on this will say what?
Well, really, we're just weakening the American brand as we did when we saw what happened with Iran and what we saw what happened with Russia. We're just further weakening the American brand. You're going up to the bully in the schoolyard and you're saying, hey, I want to pick a fight while you're backing up. I mean, you know, it's just not going to work here. This wasn't the right thing to do. Definitely not.
All right. Gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. And Jesse Jane, don't go too far because